Welcome back to Beards and Brews. Hey, if you guys haven't already, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Ring that little bell so you know when we have another one brewing. This week's spooktacular movie is going to be Braindead and or Dead Alive. Fellas, what did you think of this Splatterfest?
This movie's fucking ridiculous.
The first two versions that I attempted to watch were both very different films from what I ended up having to watch. I watched a movie called Braindead that was an indie film that was kind of okay, very not living dead, very
I thought you were going to say Living Color.
Yes. Very Evil Dead, but it wasn't the proper movie. And the second one I watched had Bill Pullman and Bill Paxton, but was also not the proper Braindead.
You got both the bills. What could go wrong?
Yeah, and one was even Business Bill. He looked pretty good.
Double bill? Well, okay, out of the three, was this the best one?
I don't know, man. I'm leaning toward the Bill Pullman, Bill Paxton because that's an all-star cast.
I mean, this had an all-star cast, too. It's got that scrawny Kiwi guy, and...
I thought it was one of the doctors from Doctor Who.
Was that not Adrian Brody?
And you've also got, like, Latina girl.
The star of this movie was the fucking dude that get killed in the opening. That's like, look here, buggers, I got a permit.
I'll tell you, I've seen this movie before, and like it's been a while. I think I probably watched this back when I was in college, and I'm sure I enjoyed it. The only part that I really remembered was this opening scene, and it left some memories in me, I'll tell you that.
But this is actually the part that I remembered the least. I had no recollection that happened. Like, this just random dude in the middle of, like, New Zealand.
No, it's Skull Island, Sumatra.
They're just trying to remake the beginning of Raiders of the Lost Ark.
True, yeah. But it is Skull Island, which, if we haven't mentioned it, this is another Peter Jackson film.
And I had to do a little bit of research. I was like, this movie came out in quote-unquote 1992. In about 3 or 4 years, he got the go-ahead to start production of the Lord of the Rings trilogy. Take that as you will.
I'm still coming to terms with that, to be honest with you.
Do you think this is some, like, kind of crazy Hollywood foreshadowing with the Skull Island thing and then him doing King Kong?
Yeah.
Oh, so there's like a Peter Jackson iceberg. So this is all just like a big fucking thing just so he can finally produce the Lord of the Rings movies? Wow. Peter Jackson, what a AAA con man.
For real. We just got to figure out how Meet the Feebles fits into all of it.
Oh, no, that was his one passion project.
I still haven't seen that. Don't really know what it's about, but my roommate keeps mentioning it whenever I bring up pre-Lord of the Rings Peter Jackson, so I guess I'm going to have to just bite the bullet at some time.
It's one of the few films out there that has the hashtag Muppet fucking.
I'll tell you, there's definitely a little bit of Quentin Tarantino-isms in this. Especially Kill Bill with like the blood geysers and shit like that.
Oh, okay.
Because it's ridiculous.
Given the happenstance of production, they were just given like a big fucking wad of money. They go to shoot what they need for the day, and it's like, okay, that was everything. Oh, we still have $10,000 in gore effect? How many blenders can we buy with that?
Bro, fuck a blender, get that lawnmower.
That is one of the fucking most cinematic scenes in all of film. I will fucking fight anybody. It's the coolest shit.
So let's just kind of whirlwind through this prologue. We've got a guy, I guess he's some sort of a, I don't know, zookeeper. That's all I'm getting. He's got this monkey in a cage or something. We never see him, but he is rushing through this little canyon with a little helper fella. I guess he's native. This is in Sumatra, trying to escape with this monkey, ? We get to him a little bit later, and I love the monkey. I love the way this monkey looks. But he gets surrounded by a bunch of natives, and he's like, you mentioned it, I have a permit, and starts waving around the permit in front of all these like natives with bows and arrows and spears and like bones through their nose. That's where we're at.
Quotation mark natives.
Right.
Well, listen, the system works. He flashed that little bit of paperwork, and they're like, oh my god, he's right.
Yeah,
that's not all he flashed. He flashed that lead, bruh, when he pulled out of that fucking Tech 9 and let loose.
Oh, yeah.
That's gun used very loosely.
Okay, in no way am I trying to critique this movie for what he does, because this movie is just foolishness and awesome gore. He takes the gun, waves it back and forth, emptying the magazine, hits no one, throws the gun down, and is like, let's get out of here, Scooby.
I straight up thought he just mowed through everyone, and then like when he runs away, everyone else just stands back up and is like, all right, let's get after him.
Well, you can't start the movie with senseless violence when the rest of your movie is senseless violence. Come on.
despite all that creature's rage, it's still just a Sumatran rat monkey in a cage. And he's running with it, and he makes it to the beach, I guess, to where these people are going to exfiltrate him with this monkey, and it somehow bites him.
Yeah, they get in the Jeep, try and take away real quick as the natives are chasing him, and the monkey bites him. He's just like, oh, it bit me. And everyone else is like, you've got the bite. Straight up kicks his ass off the Jeep and is like,
Yeah.
we got to take care of this right now.
It's basically just like a Monty Python biz. Like, this is but a scratch. Nope, your arm's off.
He's got the unguitus.
Oh. But then they notice like a scratch on his other arm. It's like, oh, that one's got to come off too. Then he's got a little scratch on his head. Fuck, there's no saving you.
I kind of half expected, it was like, no, that scratch was pre-existing. I fell down.
I have my vaccination card right here.
Yeah. Was there like an actual plan for that third one? Just to chop the top of his head off? Just like, schwack.
Nope. Just nip this in the bud right here. The guy actually dies right here if you didn't get that off with his head, but yet they still take the rat monkey, knowing what it's all about. They take that rat monkey and ship it off to Wellington or wherever it is.
Do they actually know? I thought they were like already speeding away as he was getting like hacked to pieces back there.
Yeah, money is money, bruh.
I guess so.
Should have made it like all the way there.
Yeah. Also, just another little thing that isn't really very important, but we'll toss it out there. This movie is set in 1957. Yeah.
Like I know there's like an old time feeling, but I just thought that was just New Zealand. Kind of like how you go to Cuba, has all those classic cars, and everyone's kind of like stuck in the 50s.
Nope. This like the opening thing says the opening thing, as I mentioned, Skull Island, southwest of Sumatra, 1957. And when we get into like the real life portion of the movie, you notice like all the cars are 50s cars. You've got like greasers and guys like that. It's very loosely 1957.
Fair.
But they get around, I get around, and now the Sumatran monkey rat is just, I don't know how it's monkey at all. It's just a big hairless rat.
It's just something that they stole from a Primus video.
Dude, you get to see it, and the first thing you do is go, ew, it's kind of cute.
What?
No.
Not where I was going.
Yeah, that
No,
thing looks
like-
fucking disgusting.
No, like we meet our movie's main characters here. You've got like Paquita is her name. Paquita. She runs like a little shop, I guess a family run shop in Wellington. And there's like the main character who stumbles in after Paquita has like a tarot card reading for some reason from her grandmother. I don't know. This is very shoehorned in.
Yeah.
Doesn't really matter much. All you need, those two characters. She is for some reason smitten with him. So it's like, hey, let's go to the zoo. And that's where we meet the Sumatran rat monkey.
I think the tarot cards are just like an explanation for her horniness. Because like some other dude was in there before him. He's like, damn, that's the one. And then he comes in, he's like, no, that's the one.
Yeah, the tarot cards were supposed to say like, yeah, the man of your dreams is going to come in. He's going to be a black knight and he's going to have like the star as his symbol. The dorky guy comes in and is like, I'm going to have some of this black knight licorice. And he like knocks it over, spills it everywhere. And some of them kind of form a star. And that's the whole basis for like her trying to just be all over him, I
I'm
guess.
gonna fuck you due to happenstance.
Yeah.
Yeah, no kidding. But it wasn't quite happenstance because like the reason why he was there is for some like bullshit errand for his mom. It's very like psycho-y or even Principal Skinnery.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, his mom is something. Real piece of work.
Okay.
Yeah, I called her Meemaw throughout, and she's like a cockblock from hell.
Oh, yeah.
And that's also what I named this movie. Whenever I write the movies, I don't actually put the title at the top. This is Cockblock, a Sumatran rat story.
I love it. I love it. But yeah, they live in this giant house. I don't know where they got their money from, but they are definitely on the good side of middle class. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
Ooh.
It screams old money. Though.
Old money,
Like
for sure.
But the kind of old money just sits there, stagnates, and rots.
Mhm.
And she winds up eating her ear.
Not before that, she gets to put the moves on her own sonny boy. So he's about to make out with old Petunia, and she's like, no, get away from my boy. And the Sumatran rat monkey is like, let that boy get some ass. Nom, 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 nom.
Oh man, wingman rat boy, nice.
Yep.
Well, like it starts out like the first time we really see it, it starts out like, everything's being all cute. They're looking at the monkeys in the cage, whatever. One of them throws like an apple core at her. And she's just like, oh, how funny. I'm going to throw this apple core back. And then the first time you actually see it, this Sumatran rat monkey grabs a hold of, I guess, one of the other monkeys monkey's arms and rips it off and starts eating it.
Yeah, and she looks down. It's like, oh, a stop motion figure.
Behold, it's herky-jerky movements.
Yeah, I mean it's charming. You know, like they did that. It's pretty good.
I loved the little fucker. All right, I thought he was adorable, and whenever he's munching on the grandma, I was heartbroken when she heel stomped him.
Dude,
Oh,
it was
yeah.
so out of left field. It was so abrupt and violent. I was like, oh man, it's gross that she bit her. Oh my god, he's flat as a fucking board now.
Yeah, the ooze, it just like oozes out from the top of its forehead and its eyeballs. Like that's the first like real gore that we see here. I mean, aside from the guy getting his like arms and head cut off, like this is pretty gross.
I love it. It's like something that you would have had when you were growing up in the 90s as a toy, like one of those creepy crawlers or the Dr.
Oh,
Frankenstein labs or some shit.
Like those fucked up stress reliever things disguised as kids' toys.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I was thinking. The ones that you like you just squeeze and the eyes pop out.
Oh, 100%, yeah. Like she slams down hard on that thing's head. It's just like,
That's a perfect noise.
Yeah, absolutely.
But like at the same time, you would reach down and take some of the eye goop and be like, "Oh, it's cherry."
free goo.
But her
Free
mom,
goo.
but his mom is just like, listen, Lionel. His name's Lionel. That's a fucking nerdy name anyway. But listen, Lionel, please take me home. I've had enough of this. And so he does, and he just straight up leaves his date there.
Bro, you skipped the most important line of this entire film, delivered in such a way that it shook me to my very core.
Did I?
I've been savaged.
I don't know. I think there's a few more classic lines left in this movie. We might have to compare and contrast later.
Oh, just get the whole Venn diagram set up. It's okay. We got it covered.
Is it about the custard? I love a good custard.
Oh,
Fuck that dude, man. That was the most, of all the shit in this whole movie, that was the most disgusting thing I'd ever seen.
It's just because he's gross and he's eating, and you go, ew.
Yeah. Well, to get to that, like they scuffle up back to the house. You know, Ma starts to feel a little ill or whatever. And he's like, oh no, stop feeding myself. I've got to lay down and all that hibbity jibbity. You know, she starts to fall apart like she's some kind of leper or whatever, and like her skin gets cut and like flaps down. He's like, oh, sonny boy, you can fix me up real good, can't you? And like the dude takes some fucking Gorilla Glue, slaps it on there real fucking thick, and just like smears it back on her.
yeah, like she's supposed to have like some real important visitors come over, like people from the foundation to it doesn't matter. Does not matter. Important people.
She has dinner, and she's shaking more than MJF at like some kind of event.
And all the while, she's got like shit falling off of her. You mentioned the little face flap that he's got to super glue back onto her, but she's falling apart all over the place. Can't hardly talk at all. I don't know why he doesn't just like call an actual legitimate doctor at this point. Things are serious.
He is so sheltered, and I feel like that's the vibe of this movie. He's so sheltered. He doesn't know how to do anything.
Oh.
At least that was the excuse that I made up for like whenever the little undead baby born and he decides to take it to the park for whatever fucking reason. He's just looking around like, I guess I'll do this. I don't even know how to walk next to a hill properly.
Okay, so Paquita comes to his like window that night and was like, hey, you left your jacket. I've got it here for you. Can we talk? That kind of thing. And he's just like, no, go away. No, it can wait until tomorrow. I don't know why I'm doing a British accent. It's whatever. And she eventually climbs up to his window, Melissa Etheridge style, and things start to happen. Meanwhile, Mom is in bed, obviously resting. There's just a couple of quick cuts, but, you know, things start getting hot, heavy with Paquita and Lionel. Cuts back to Mom laying there groaning. Her arm is twitching. Cuts back over to Lionel and Paquita. They start to do stuff, you know, sexually. And then once we get this build up a little bit more, you see a pussy, bloody squirt on the wall right about the right time. And it's just makes you feel wrong in all the right ways.
I totally forgot they banged one out while her fucking mom grew a pulse in her wound that she got from the zoo.
That was just one of the most perfect juxtaposition of flash cuts that I've seen lately, at least when it comes to, I don't know, pus and blood.
A blood nut?
There's a blood nut coming. It's not quite yet, but there's a blood nut coming.
But back to the dinner scene, like, I know this movie is campy to shit and back. Like, this is goofy as fuck, no matter how violent and grotesque it may be. This old bitch, she's legitimately losing parts of her body onto the table, into the pudding, whatever it is. And everyone's like, oh, quite right. Very tasty. We can't leave without any fucking pudding, can we?
Yeah. And he's just like, we don't have pudding, but we do have custard. We've got wonderful custard. And yeah, bitch's ear straight up just falls off into the custard.
Her ear falls off. She eats it. And then she also like pusses into old boy's fucking custard. He's like, "Ooh, I like it creamy." And all you can think the entire time is, man, these people are kooky.
Kooky.
That's how you know they're all together ooky, right?
But at least mom does have the common courtesy to spit back out the pearl earring that was attached to the ear that she ate. It's fucking nasty. This is a nasty scene.
Well, I mean, a little bit of the audience is in that little group of people, and she's like squirming in the chair. She's like, "Oh, I gotta fucking go, man. Let's get me out of here." Like, "Oh, no, for the custard loaf, it's delicious."
Delicious.
And like so many close-ups of this guy's mouth, which is honestly gross
fucking
enough
hate
as
it.
it is.
I hate it.
Okay,
I hate it every day.
Yeah, it's grosser than the gore.
Cause the gore's goofy. That dude touches kids, man.
Oh.
Look at him.
We don't know that. That's not an accusation that we can make, at least at this point in time.
I mean, there's a couple of people in this movie that I have to profile.
Well, there is one person that just comes out and says it. We'll get to him a little bit later.
He says the quiet part out loud.
So once the entertainment leaves, Homeboy just finds his mom just like laying in the kitchen floor, snacking off anything that she can find in the refrigerator, just crying, "Don't let them take me away."
I mean, at this point, I feel like after all the mental, maybe physical abuse, he just like, I'm just gonna let you rot there. Kind of like if there was another scenario, if she was like, "Oh, help me! This house is on fire," and he'd be like, "It sure is."
The whole time this is happening, I was really confused because everything was going okay between those two, and now she's semi-murderous.
I think she's just really hangry, you know, 'cause
She needs a Snickers.
Yeah.
The next scene that gets my attention was he goes in for another tarot reading while his Meemaw mommy is at home doing her own thing, like dying, semi-escaping. And I don't remember what the tarot reading was like. It was just your usual, "Bad things are happening and you must fight them. Here, take this necklace." And then they stare at each other with these over-the-top, intense eyeballs.
I think this movie had to be exactly 90 minutes. That's why. How do we stretch this out for 5 seconds?
Well, the next thing that I was going to talk about was when Paquita comes over and is like, "Dark forces have been messing with you. My grandma can see it." And her dog runs into the house, which we haven't mentioned. She's got a dog that follows her. Dog runs into the house upstairs to Grandma's room. They run up. Grandma's fucking eating the dog.
Oh yeah, the whole ass dog.
The whole ass dog.
Like it took me back. I was just like, "Oh shit, the dog tore to bits." Cause like she fucking Homeboy walks up to her and pulls the whole fucking dog leg, but then it turns out to just be the whole dog. It's just like husk.
Yeah, I thought it was like the tail at first, but no, I think it's like the shell. Not dogs don't have shells. What the fuck word am I trying to say? Like the hide. It's just dog hide.
Get him up, move him out, dog hide.
Yeah.
Oh well, shit. She's not too bent out of shape about it. She's like, she sees this obviously awful situation. She's like, "Oh no."
I'll call an ambulance.
But not for me.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
And yeah, nurse comes in and is just like, she's dead. We should bury her.
Oh yeah, that nurse was very helpful. Like she's just the nurse, but she's like, "Oh no, don't worry. I'll help you with the funeral planning and everything, the burial. I've got your back." It's like, you're just like a nurse. Why do you have all this power?
I was thinking it was like a family friend, maybe like a stay-in nurse, like somebody that had been,
Okay.
you know, dealing with mom for years.
I was kind of thinking like maybe like the town is so close knit, there's just like everybody's gonna throw in a helping hand at best, but it just came out of left field. I'm just like, how is she gonna have like access to all this? It's just like, let me take care of everything, love. I've got you.
It doesn't matter because she's gonna get her fucking head ripped off.
Yeah, true. Don't you just hate when that happens?
Yeah.
This is like when shit kind of hits the fan because like now he's in charge of basically 2 zombies and he tries to like stifle this situation by like stuffing them in the basement. Oh
Yeah, he,
wait,
like-
in the most comical way possible.
Yeah, he like shoves his mom down there and then wheelbarrows the nurse over there. Like,
Yeah, he does.
And old girl comes down because I guess she had been getting like clothes or whatever from grandma's room to like take her to the hospital. Oh, the nurse took her to the hospital. Everything's fine. It's all right. I'll see her later.
Maybe she was just curious because she walked in and she's like, smells like exactly 2 rotting corpses.
Also, why is there blood all over the place? Like 2 different people's blood.
Why is she so exact?
I don't know. It just seems like in that situation, you could tell that blood was flowing from 2 different sources.
Why are there 2 blood puddles next to each other? I can also see 2 distinct different hand patterns.
This one's blood colored. This one's more of a maroon.
This one's blood colored, but a bit darker.
That's right. None more blood.
Oh.
None more blood.
I'd pay
Okay.
for it.
But yeah, like, so, like, he has this entire situation, quote unquote, in his basement. So, like, what does he do? I don't know. He goes to fucking, like, Diagon Alley or something.
It's like a veterinary medicine lab that's in like a fucking back alley.
Yeah, but then he goes to, like, the deepest, darkest corridor and some, like, basically, like, a maintenance room. Finds this fellow who's a quote unquote doctor. Listen, I don't like the profile, but this dude totally had something to do with World War II.
Oh, yeah, for sure. He's got like this strong German accent. He calls himself Uncle Heinrich, but he claims his family left Latvia during the occupation. That's not a Latvian accent, though.
I don't know. This Kaiser old dude, he's just like, hey, I'm not the reanimator. I'm just this dude, but I can help you out.
Speaking of Kaiser roll, but what I've got instead is the Kaiser. This is an Imperial Oktoberfest beer from Avery Brewing Company out of Boulder, Colorado. This is an 8% alcohol by volume Imperial Oktoberfest. So, you know, 'tis the season and all that. Oh, it smells good and warm, malty, toasty. There's a little bit of copper flavor to it, but man, it's so sweet and malty, which is like you usually don't get a whole lot of sweetness from something that is that high in alcohol. But there is a good bit of sweetness here. Malt, a lot of hops, I mean, honestly, this is just a perfect autumn beer. It's warming, but not too warming. Man, this is a good beer.
You think it's the kind of drink you can just sit down, relax, and watch a dude's head get stuffed in a blender?
Only one way to find out.
Note to
Wow.
future self, insert blender sounds. I'll use that one.
So the whole reason he was going to Dr. Kaiser or whatever his name is, he wanted to get some sedatives.
Sedatives.
Sedatives? The gives.
Oh,
But
shit.
instead he only had tranquilizers, which that'll do.
That'll do. Yeah, the Dr. Frankenstein or whatever. He's just like, just do the thing, whatever. It won't be gross at all. And the narrator goes, it was entirely gross.
It was terribly gross. He's got to go back down to his basement with this fucking gigantic lancet of a syringe filled
Yes.
with just generic tranquilizer.
It looked like a gardening tool. It's so fucking big and comical, and he's got to specifically insert it through the nostril.
Is that right? Because he straight up stabs the nurse in the eye with it.
I don't know, but like it seems like every other scene of him trying to like tranquilize one of these fucking things, he's like right up the nose, like he's trying to dig out a mummy brain.
But
Okay.
yeah, the next thing we know, Lionel has to go back to that little shop to talk to Paquita and was like, I need to know about these dark forces. There's some shit going down. And this is where we get that little tarot reading scene where he gets the little talisman.
Yeah, it's like something from Sailor Moon.
Yeah, it's very something that you would buy like a dollar store Halloween section. Like I hate to like poop on it, you know, it's just a prop or whatever, but it's just like thing.
Now, I was thinking more like, you know, those shops that for some reason every mall had in like the late 90s, early 2000s that just had like random samurai swords and
Yeah.
shit like that. It's something from one of those places.
And like through this whole conversation, she's like, yeah, those demon forces, they're the same that burn crosses. And she's like,
Oh,
no.
Mm.
like, oh man, what do? We have all these demons. It's like, oh, hopefully they just don't get out. Cue them getting out.
Yeah. This talisman has the power of the White Knight, and it'll protect him, right?
Like the
That's
movie doesn't even explain anything. Like, what the fuck does that mean?
Yeah, well, it doesn't matter. It'll protect you if you have it.
insert him having it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, there's like a little bit of a subplot, right? So like we get to the funeral's coming up or whatever,
Yeah.
and like I guess her mom's brother, his uncle, obviously, which is just like dark Chris Farley at this point, you know?
Kiwi Chris Farley, but like real horny.
Oh, no. That is not Kiwi Chris Farley, good sir. That is fucking New Zealand John Goodman. That, my good sir, is Jack Gladman.
I've been called Jack Badman, yeah.
Yeah, but he just shows up to the funeral and it just immediately starts macking on little Paquita.
Oh, for sure, yeah. He's like, hey, you want to buy a used car? That's what I fucking look like.
You could fit so much bologna sandwich in me.
Oh.
He looks like the kind of guy who takes his bowling league way too seriously.
At this funeral, there is an embalming scene, which
Yes.
had me fucking rolling. Like, they're putting the green juice in her for whatever
Yep.
reason. I guess she's got to get her vitamins. And they overflow her, and that shit starts spraying out, and we get one juicy meemaw.
We certainly do. It's almost akin to that really, one of my favorite scenes from Dracula Dead and Loving It. They just drill that fucking spike into that one lady, and just blood goes everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so you guys have seen Reanimator. I assume you guys have seen Reanimator. Well, there is a porno spin-off called Repenetrator. Instead of pumping these embalming fluids into like her nose and throat or wherever it's going, he pumps it elsewhere,
They're cream pieing?
down there. There's still embalming fluids, but that's what this reminds me of because it just gushes. And that's what we have here. Just a gush.
Remember, kids, pick up your copy of Repenetrator right next to the Nutbusters.
But yeah, it's nasty.
No.
That's all I'm going to leave in, by the way. By the way, that's nasty. No context.
But the whole reason we're even in this room is because this is still a zombie. Like, she's dead, but undead.
Yeah, dead
alive.
alive.
Oh, that's where it comes from. So he's still trying to sneak in and, like, get her with some tranquilizer to keep her, like, still enough to be buried, I guess. And that's why we're in this room.
And it can't be straightforward, of course. It just has to be wacky as fuck.
Yeah, we've kind of talked about this as if it's like a straightforward, ridiculous horror movie. There's a lot of comedy to this, too.
I feel like if you, like, insert enough banana peel sounds in this movie, it's basically a Looney Tunes cartoon.
Yeah, we've got a scene later at the party, because there's a party in this movie, where absolutely you just need... I don't know. Yeah. Banana peel sounds. That's all you need.
We are one Benny Hill chase away from perfection.
We'll get there, for sure.
I feel like it's probably in mind, especially with, well, I don't want to ruin it, but code word Husqvarna.
Husqvarna. Now, this is where the movie switches from, now mind you, already ridiculous, to
absurd.
Okay, somebody just flipped a switch and said, fuck it.
It's like we were already to the maximum, and then somebody decided, well, these go to 11.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah. It's almost like when you're watching Raising Arizona, and you realize H.I. is just Wile E. Coyote.
Yep. Except for instead of H.I., we get the fucking preacher.
Oh,
dude, he
Who
is
does
the
he
coolest
kick ass
guy.
for?
That man kicks ass for the Lord, and he proceeds to fucking karate these two. Well, he thinks they're punk. Like, he fucking straight up murders these guys. Like, he fucking tears them to bits.
Dude, he leg sweeps a man's legs off.
'Tis but a fresh wound.
yeah, like what happens is after the funeral, I guess, for whatever reason, Lionel needs to go back to the graveyard and dig his mom up, I guess, to trank her again. I don't know what it is, but he encounters some greasers there, and some greasers want to jump him for whatever reason. They call him a necrophiliac or something. I think that's really just an excuse to try and, like, jump him and mug him.
Well, I mean, if they're already going to jump him and mug him, did they really need the excuse? What kind of fucking degenerates are they?
Yeah, like, not only are they going to rob him, but they're going to degrade him.
Sexually?
For some reason, my mind went straight to piss.
Well, there is some piss. Yep, one of them is just like, hey, I'm going to piss on your mom's grave because I can do that, and you're a nasty necrophiliac. And how does mom take that?
It's a great cinematic moment, let's be honest. Because he walks up, dick out, and in your mind, you're like, he's going to get his dick all grabbed. And you know what? He gets his dick all grabbed.
Sure does.
He don't like it, though, and
You think?
all hell begins to break loose. Because, man, oh man, they started screaming, then the Velocipaster comes out and starts putting a
Yes.
whooping on things.
fucking kung fu priest going on right now.
Yeah, but he gets like body slammed onto a statue's pointed finger arm and killed.
I don't even understand how the fuck that happened. He totally had those dudes on the ropes, zombies or otherwise. He was just kung fuing so hard, he lost all sense of gravity and just wound up impaled somewhere. I don't fucking know.
He did the fucking Shoryuken and missed and landed on a statue.
Oh man, it just reminded me of that bit from Hot Fuzz when James Bond fucking got his chin stuck on a church.
Oh yeah, okay, exactly.
We
I
might
just
be
think-
underselling just how much ass he kicks for the Lord, because at certain points he's like ripping zombie greasers' arms off and like kung fu kicking their whole fucking head off.
And I will say again, he just thinks these are just like midnight punks. And he fucking dismembers and disembowels them before he magically kills himself or whatever.
Yeah, picture Kung Pao, but gorier.
A lot gorier, yeah.
And it gets more gory.
It
Like-
does. Like it just keeps building and building and building.
Yeah, but it's not just gore, it's just like schmutz. Like after a while, like it just starts changing color. Just like, what the fuck is that? A sneeze?
He hit him until they gooped.
Gooped.
All right, so he gets his mom out of there because mom comes to life as a zombie. That's how all the rest of these motherfuckers become zombies, right? We kind of breezed over that.
Yeah.
Gets mom home, puts her back in the basement. Now he's got to feed the zombies. They got to eat.
Rallies.
Stop.
Man,
But-
I could go for a big Buford.
Well, speaking
Buford?
of Big Buford, fucking, he walks in through the front door. He's like, listen, I'm going to have to take the house because I'm an asshole and you don't want to deal with any of these proper paperworks or anything. He's like, yeah, sure, whatever.
Yeah, Uncle Buck shows up and is like, I know about all those bodies you got. I don't really care about them much. You can do whatever your kinky ass wants, but I'm going to have to turn you into the cops so I can get my money.
Yeah,
Dude.
yeah.
This is where the gore gets amped up to 10 too, because he's downstairs feeding them like through throat holes, and then you got the dude
So
who kicks
gross.
ass for the Lord is now finger banging for Satan.
Oh, yeah, they just start fucking for whatever reason.
Yeah, it's
And
the
they have a
nurse, too.
instant baby.
They do. Who made this movie?
The same gentleman that made The Lord of the Rings.
Jesus.
Stay with
Christ.
me. Not only do they have an instant baby, but for whatever reason, it's inside of a radio.
I mean, it's got to hatch from somewhere, right?
Dude,
What?
he's 69s with that baby. It like jumps onto his face.
I don't want to hear that phrase ever again, but I mean, there's probably a guy a little bit later that might.
Oh, no.
But there's one line before chaos starts to, completely break through when Uncle Buck or whatever his name is just kind of poking around the house. Like we hear like the priest and the nurse in another room start to get it on, and Uncle, he hears it and he's like, "Oh no, that's somebody doing the business in there. What's going on? What's your kinky ass doing? Oh, have you found your dad's old stag tapes, eh? Huh? Is that the one with the donkey and the chambermaid?
And Homeboy's just trying to play it up as, yeah.
Yeah, that's the one.
Uh,
I've been jerking off to bestiality. That's totally normal.
It's actually that one scene from Clerks 2 on loop over and over and over.
I
Kinky
really
Kelly and the
like-
sexy stud.
Oh, I really like the verbiage used. Stag tapes. Like,
Yeah, like
Very old school.
no, it's something that I realized watching this is like Kiwis use the same words, but they don't arrange them in an order that makes sense a lot of the time. You know what I mean?
Oh.
Like they're using like English, but a completely different English.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like Ricky from Trailer Park Boys, because this is the worst case Ontario.
Yeah, but once Uncle invites all his buddies over, and I mean everyone in the whole fucking town, this is when the fun starts happening. Hell breaks loose.
Now, not to just reuse the whole go to 11 thing, I'll be damned if this movie doesn't go to like 13 or 14, because like there's so many rapid successions of out of this world gore fantastical bullshit. It's like one thing after another. Some lady gets her head punched through and turned into a lamp in rapid
Yeah.
succession. And if you're not
Jack-o'-lantern
ready
thing.
for it, it'll put you on your ass.
My favorite is the rib cage. A door is knocked down when they first escape, and one of the zombies is like, no, 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 and starts clawing at this dude's chest, and you see his sternum, and you go, oh, that's cool. The zombie then proceeds to wrap his fingers through several ribs on either side and pull, and a rib cage is produced from inside of this prosthetic piece or what the fuck ever, and they pull it out. and guts and shit are falling out of it, and all I could do was go, "That's fucking cool."
I feel like half of you was like, wow, that was fucking dumb. And then the other half was like, wow, that was fucking great.
Yeah,
but-
all of that for sure.
Yeah.
Because it comes out in not only one piece, just by itself. It's almost like Peter Jackson's like, yeah, this is the part that I want the rib cage to come out. All right, prop makers, make the prop. It's like the Stonehenge thing. They took it literally. And it's just the whole ass thing. No organs or anything. Just comes out of this man.
Yeah, just a rib cage. The spine's attached, but it's not attached to any other part of him.
Yeah, if we haven't made it clear enough, pretty much from here on out, there's no more plot. It's just a party and chaos. The zombies come out, and at the beginning, his like bogan friends don't really realize that they're zombies. It doesn't really matter. One guy starts having a conversation with one who is kind of attacking him. He looks a little bit hangry too, and he's like, I'm sorry, I called Nabokov a pedophile.
That dude, that was fucking weird. Like, okay, this movie's gross, but that
It
was like a
doesn't get
moment
less
of weird.
weird.
Yeah, like that was like a moment of weird I wasn't prepared for. I'm like, what?
Well, a little bit later, the same guy, once he's getting attacked again, he's like, no, man, some of my best friends are pedophiles.
That's the least cool thing you could say.
Yeah.
Now, there's a kill coming up that I really enjoyed too, and I wanted to bring it up because, movies that we've done. A lady's face is pulled off like a glove.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's that lady
All
with the glasses,
was-
right?
Yeah, I was just like, oh shit, face off.
Yeah.
There's a lot of just kooky shit. I forget the order, but like, it honestly doesn't matter. Because like you said earlier, Chan, man, it's like, there's no plot. It's just like an objective. Just eliminate the enemy threat.
The objective is show as many scenes of ridiculousness in rapid succession.
Dude, one of the most impressive and ridiculous things is the remainder of the party's trying to escape from the zombies and all the hubbub, and one dude slides through like a narrowly closed door and he doesn't quite make it, and they catch him. And they're trying to pull him. He's like, oh, we've got to save him. He's like, oh, save me. The half of him still hanging outside is gobbled up, except for the bone like a chicken wing. And they pull him through, and he's just like pelvis and leg. He's like half skeleton.
His entire bottom half has been degloved.
Oh.
Yes.
Aw,
And he's
man.
like, oh, help me. I got the polio legs.
It's like there's a whole lot of those scenes. At some point, Paquita shows up because she's on a date with like some other guy. But she walks by and it's like, hey, there's a party going on. I should stop in.
Well, I mean, anything would have been more interesting than her date because, like, he was straight up giving his memoir.
She's like, oh, rugby, rugby, rugby. I could be the next John Smith, but rugby, rugby.
Yeah. And, like, he, like, even noticed her walked away. She's like, huh, where'd she go? Anyway,
well.
my rugby career's coming up.
Yeah. But yeah, we get to a point where she is basically like, hey, you know what you got to do. You got to fucking kill these zombies, right? Like, it doesn't matter that your mom is one. Like, that's not her anymore.
And, like, what is his great idea, gentlemen?
Sirs, he goes outside, grabs some lawn care equipment, returns to the house.
That he does, yep.
And what I love about this is he has a lawnmower. It is not a weapon, but he proceeds to mow down an entire party of zombies.
Sir, I appreciate the fact that you said mow down.
That's actually in my notes as well, yep.
But the thing is, he doesn't get them all in one pass.
Yeah.
And it's the greatest thing ever. Because this scene is detailed and articulate and very showy. And things are getting chopped to bits like fucking crazy. And I totally forgot of how horrendous this scene is. And he stops, takes a deep breath. He's like, turns around, and there's like 30 more. He just mowed down like the middle bit. And he's got to do it again.
I'm
And
gonna
the
need
movie
another pass.
Shows it. Yes. It's like, fuck, please stop, but also keep going.
Meanwhile, Paquita is in the kitchen, and she's trying to do her part too. She's got the fucking food processor there. She's like, hey, I got this baby. Why not toss him in the food processor? Make a little hummus, you know?
Oh, no.
All the while, she's screaming, Madre Dios! And fucking Uncle goes, bugger that! And grabs a cleaver and a knife And it's just literally the camera facing him and him going cha 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 cha
Yeah.
cha at the camera, and then them spraying blood all over him.
There's
It's-
so much blood from here on out. Like the Quentin Tarantino quantity of blood.
Yeah. Well, I mean, in that particular scene alone, after he's done chop, chop, chopping, he's just left with a pile of guts, body parts, or whatever, perfectly piled up in front of him as he just scrapes the crud off his butcher knife. He's like, there you have it.
That's not a knife. Oh, it is a knife. All right.
Oh, I've seen you played knifey.
And then, yeah, you know, once you get it chopped up, just toss in the food processor. Make some more hummus. It's a party, right?
Well, the kid doesn't even stay in the processor or blender. He just gets fired up into the fucking sky.
It's fine. There's other zombies that we can make hummus from.
There's a bit though, which it's almost sweet. The organs are all laying there, and they get up and form their own little person and look in the mirror and have a moment of self-realization.
Yeah.
I noticed that too.
The dude that got kicked in half by the pastor, his guts fall out of him during the scuffle, and they wind up back in the house, fully sentient and ready to kill the next guy.
A little recurring thing that we might have not talked about is how Uncle Buck, or whatever his name is, keeps getting hit in the nuts. First time it's by Paquita when he's trying to, like, I don't know, take her off into another room to do stuff to her. Zombies do it. At one point, the baby zombie picks up a severed limb, a severed leg, and just hits him in the nuts with it. That's where we're at, fellas.
That big hot fella is the actual embodiment of fat bastard. This is what he would look like as a real person. He just got hit in the mommy daddy butt.
Right in the mommy daddy button. But now the party's over, and there was gore galore, and we think it's all said and done, but nope. Turns out mom is still there, and she's a super beast, and she is all teeth and tits.
Oh my fuck, dude.
I don't know. She's got some thick ass booty too. Whew.
Oh man. It's a moment that I can only describe as brief relief and hey, is that boss music?
Yeah,
Yes.
This is the boss fight for sure.
Yeah. And like this fucking, I don't want to call it a spider, but if that giant contraption at the end of Wild Wild West had saggy tits, bingo.
God damn, you're fucking spot on. It also reminded me of the boss in guy from Ricky O.
Oh man, he just like punches him in the belly and rips it out.
Yeah, and he's just ripping apart the plastic man.
What I got was more like the Vogons from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, except they had like you said, saggy tits and an ass that can clap.
Oh my god.
She eats her son. He then uses that necklace.
Whoa. Whoa. You say eat as if he went in her mouth. No, he did not. Her belly opened itself up and swallowed him. Straight from the belly, straight back into the womb.
Not chewed, swallowed, but in like a reverse birth kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then has to chop his way out with that Halloween prop necklace, which makes her fall apart, and the house catches on fire, and he is reborn.
Ah, yes, like the Kiwi Phoenix he is.
Yeah, honestly, this part seems very, Evil Dead to me. I mean, there's a lot of allusions to Evil Dead in here, but how he comes out, I don't know. That just seems like an homage almost, if not like a direct, hey, I like Evil Dead.
Yeah, absolutely. And just like that, it's just like, wow, happy ending. We can both see ghosts now. Cue Don't Fear the Reaper.
Yeah, for real. Like, they embrace in this disgustingly bloody kiss. The house goes up in flames, and then everybody lives happily ever after.
God, it's like the ending of like 5 different movies all at once. Like, What's Eating Gilbert Grape, Evil Dead, just like all crammed in there.
And he throws away the one thing that saved him, and roll credits.
Yeah, didn't understand that at all. I mean, that might come in handy later, just in case another, one of the zombies survives and decides to infect another 1,000 zombies or so.
I mean, once a MacGuffin is used, you can't just keep it. That's just...
Oh, that's like a rubber. I won't need it.
Oh.
It'll probably be like Braindead, the 2 Towers or something.
Dead Alive 2, Ozzy Boogaloo.
Ozzy Boogaloo. Kiwi Boogaloo. Dead Alive 2. Fuck.
So with all the blood, glitz and glamour. This movie is fucking ridiculous. I'll totally reiterate what you said earlier. This movie is fucking ridiculous. It's almost like they had a movie and they made it, and they realized they had like all this extra shit, all this extra money, all this extra fake blood, and you're like, okay, everybody died. But what if they died extra fucking hard for no reason? And not only were they like chopped to bits, but like thrown in a food processor and just absolutely made a mess out of. Oh, by the way, spider tits. And that alone is a recommendation.
Yeah, this movie is straight up ridiculous. It was super enjoyable. I can't say that enough. This movie was really enjoyable despite how ridiculous it is. Turn your brain off, make it brain dead. Just sit back, relax, and maybe don't eat anything during.
This movie is as if Evil Dead was hammered drunk on Foster's.
Fucking schmammered.
Yeah, they're like, we got some plot. Where? It's sprinkled in.
I like the idea of like, well, where's the Book of the Dead? You can't fucking raid.
Well, instead of a Book of the Dead, what if we had some organs that came back to life? Do it.
What if we had like a rat monkey thing and it looked real gross, like it was from a Primus video from 1992?
I can just picture Peter Jackson around this writer's table, and they're all fucking taking hits off a bong, but it's actually a didgeridoo. What if she was a fucking lamb?
What do you mean, lamp, man? What if the baby was in the radio?
I'm sorry to my entire New Zealand audience for us continuously mixing up Australia and New Zealand, but truthfully, it's all we got.
And just like that, there you have it. That's Braindead and or Dead Alive. If you have any strong feelings about the movie, which I know you do, leave in the comment section below.
Make sure you hit the like and subscribe buttons too. Hit the little bell icon because you don't want to miss the next thing we got brewing up.
Get out there, follow us on all of our different social medias. We got that Instagram, Facebook, Reddit, Twitter. We're on the Anchor app, so you can find us with Spotify and Apple Podcasts. We got an awesome administrator constantly making new content for you guys, so check it out. And if you don't, we're going to grab a fucking lawnmower and just let her rip.
Ooh, Husqvarna sponsor us.